What's going on, Alabama fans? The Crimson Tide take on South Carolina at home this weekend. It's an early game, so you got to get up early. Might as well get up early to watch game day too, right? 11 a.m. kickoff Central Time. Crimson Tide also a 21-point favorite in this game. So do not drink the rat poison like I know a lot of us did last week. It's okay moving past that, but you definitely do not want to overlook any team, especially a team in South Carolina who, let's be honest, you never really know how they are going to play. They could come out and they could play the best game of their life, or they could come out and they could lay a big old fat egg. You do not want to take any, risks in this game. Definitely want to go out there and play your best game because, look, they definitely got some playmakers. Their quarterback is okay. We'll talk about him on today's show as we preview it as well, but their defense is pretty solid. I have a lot of confidence in Alabama's offense. Definitely some things that, you definitely would like to see adjusted, moving forward, getting the run game going more. But South Carolina, definitely a dangerous team that you do not want to overlook. So get in the comment section for me right now, guys. Predict the score to Alabama versus South Carolina. Like I said, it's a 21-point spread, but definitely do not want to overlook anybody. The defense the past, 6 quarters has not looked very good. So definitely, could be more of a high-scoring game than we would really, like to see on Saturday. And look, after last week, it is absolutely time to reset. It is Wednesday now. The team gets a 24-hour rule. Me, myself, I take it a couple more days sometimes, when it's a loss, especially one. That was embarrassing as that loss against Vanderbilt was. But like I said, we have to just go ahead and move past this. You can't keep looking in the past because at the end of the day, you cannot let Vanderbilt beat you twice. You can't keep looking back and asking what if, what could have been different. You got to just continue to move forward and be a better team down the road because, the season is not over. Alabama definitely still in that playoff contention, that playoff hunt. So definitely do not want, any kind of carryover from last week because you do not want one loss to turn into 2, to turn into 3 just because you continually sulk about, what has happened in the past. Make sure you guys are subscribed right here to the Alabama Football Report. We are not that far away from 20,000 subscribers. We've got pretty much daily Alabama football content out there for you guys, the latest news, rumors, injury reports, and so much more. Also go live every single Saturday for our Alabama football watch parties. So go ahead and hop aboard. Make sure you sub right now. Before we kind of get into the preview today, I want to give a look at, just some of the injury reports here that came out today during the SEC media teleconference. Yhonzae Pierre is going to be out. He's got an undisclosed injury. Don't really know what that is right now, but he will not be playing in this game this weekend. Kalen DeBoer also talked about Kendrick Law and Kobe Prentice, saying they're not a full go right now, but they definitely, have some hope that they're going to be good. He did not actually use the words probable. Those are my words. I'm putting that in there because Kalen DeBoer said that they would be on pace to be able to play this weekend. Obviously, we saw Kobe Prentice this past weekend take a really bad hit to the head, and really he just did not look like he knew where he was at all. So definitely want to be a little bit precautious, with Kobe Prentice. And then also want to talk about Jaeden Roberts just here for a second. Coach Cap today was talking to Alabama media about him, about why, he was kind of taken out of the game for Geno Vandermark last week. And he's got an undisclosed injury. We know he had that hand surgery, a couple of weeks ago. So it might be lingering there, might be something else too. But Jaeden Roberts definitely working through some injuries from his side of things as well. To the South Carolina injury report now. O'Donnell Fortune, one of the best cornerbacks on this South Carolina team, dealing with an upper body injury. He left that game versus Ole Miss. So, that would be a really big loss for South Carolina in this game if he is not able to go. Jared Brown, he's dealing with an ankle injury. He's been dealing with it for a couple of weeks now. Tried to go against Ole Miss, but wasn't able to finish the game. And then you also have Dalevon Campbell, wide receiver. He, in that Ole Miss game this past weekend, was going for a deep ball in the end zone and ran through the bushes, the shrubbery that they have down there. at Ole Miss and actually ran into a metal railing. So he's dealing with the shoulder injury there. And from the sound of things, it sounds like he might not be able to go this weekend for South Carolina. So those are really the three, big injury, news and report from the South Carolina side of things. Going over now to the first 5 games for South Carolina. Like I said at the top of the show, you never really know what kind of team this is going to be. They go out there and they just barely beat Old Dominion, a Kentucky team that took Georgia down to the wire. They put the whipping on them in week 2, and then a very close loss against LSU. They beat the hell out of Akron, and then last week, they weren't able to get anything going on the offensive side of the ball. Ole Miss definitely had a bounce-back game and, went in there and took care of business. So, this is definitely a team that can play either way. They could play with the best of them, or they could play with the worst of them as well. So you do not want to overlook these guys one bit. Let's get into our keys to victory now for this game for the Crimson Tide. Key to victory number 1, I need some better linebacker play out of these guys. Because, look, Lenora Sellers, quarterback for South Carolina, look, he's not the best quarterback out there, but at the same time, he's not the worst either. And we have seen in the past what has happened to Alabama's defenses, how they break down when you have a quarterback that can run the ball as well. Now, that completion percentage is not very good at 57.6%, but look, Alabama, at the end of the day, their linebackers have been getting picked on a lot this season. And, I'm definitely looking at, guys like Jihaad Campbell. I'm looking at guys like Deontay Lawson. They have got to play their assignments. If it's staying with the quarterback, stay with the quarterback. If they're doing some RPO stuff, you cannot get out of position. And like last week, I talked about that hero ball a lot, and you saw what happened. Alabama was not able to play their assignments, and they got out of position a lot on last Saturday. And when you really look at the coverage stats, teams have really been picking on Alabama on their linebackers through the air. These guys have got to be better, especially when it comes to, those third downs, those 3rd and 6s, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. Teams are really picking on Alabama's linebackers. You see right there, the average yard per reception is 8.5 for Jihaad Campbell, 9.7 for Deontay Lawson. These guys have to be better in coverage. Deontay Lawson coming into the season, we knew that was one thing that he struggled on, was really hoping that he was going to get better at. Hasn't really, taken effect so far this year. So I really need these guys to really be, more accountable, and I need them to play better. Because at the end of the day, man, there are 2 really talented linebackers, and they're leading the team in tackles for Alabama right now. So I need them to step up a little bit, especially on 3rd downs. Which brings us to our key to victory number 2. Alabama has got to get off the damn field on 3rd downs. And, granted, relative to this entire season, Alabama has been pretty solid on 3rd downs. But you look back to last week against Vandy, and they were not very good at all. 66% for Vanderbilt on 3rd down. But for the entire season, Alabama only 23 for 83, giving up first downs on those 3rd down opportunities. So 27.7% really is not that bad. But, you have, Austin Brooks, content creator, he puts out a lot of, game film, game breakdown and stuff like that. Really broke down Alabama on multiple 3rd downs. They play a lot of man coverage, and at the end of the day, it's not really like they're getting out of position, but they are just getting beat straight up in man coverage. So, I really need Kane Womack to start really mixing things up on 3rd downs. I think he said something like Alabama on 3rd downs was in man coverage 90% of the time or something like that. So you got to be able to switch things up, because when opponents know what you're going to do on 3rd down, it doesn't matter if they have the athletes. They can scheme in different ways to be able to beat you. So I really need Kane Womack as well to step up and really start mixing it up on 3rd downs as well. So help the Crimson Tide. I need everybody to spam D in the comment section to help the Crimson Tide stop those cocks on Saturday, especially on those 3rd down opportunities. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor today, and that is Game Time. Game Time has a new feature now called Game Time Picks. It makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out all the fluff to show you only the incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time Picks is just curation that makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts. They have comedy tickets on there. They have theater tickets on there. Prices on the Game Time app even go down the closer you get to the start of the event. So if you're going to be in Tuscaloosa just hanging out this weekend and last minute decide you want to go to the game, you can do that on Game Time. And guess what, guys? If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will actually credit you 110% of the difference. That's a phenomenal deal that Game Time has going. They even have all-in prices. You toggle this feature on, and it shows you the total up front, so there are no surprise fees at checkout that some of those other ticketing sites can, definitely get you with. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and redeem promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Check out GameTime.co for last-minute tickets. Terms do apply, but again, create an account and redeem promo code CHATSPORTS. That's CHATSPORTS, ChatSports, for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Because what time is it? It's game time. One of the biggest problems so far this year for the Crimson Tide has been the issues that they've had with penalties. And really, it has been more than, a issue this year. You date back to last year, Alabama really struggled in that department last year as well. And really the year before that. It's been a few years since, you've really, not really struggled, not defensively, but, with those penalties and, really just being disciplined at the end of the day. So far this season, 40 penalties for 366 yards. You're just not going to win football games consistently when you are constantly shooting yourself in the foot. Now, this past weekend against Vanderbilt, Alabama did a better job when it comes to, being disciplined and not having those stupid penalties out there. But, a lot of those penalties were just super untimely for you. You had, the one penalty on fourth down where, Vanderbilt was punting the ball. You had two number twos out there on the field. 5-yard penalty. Vanderbilt extends the drive. On that same drive, you have Quandarius Robinson, which really it's more of an unfortunate penalty. The guy's out there trying to make a play, and really he was trying to let up. He wasn't trying to hit the quarterback in the head. But that penalty on third down also extended the drive. Vanderbilt ends up going down the field and scoring a touchdown on that drive as well. So Alabama has got to do a better job, just being disciplined, and, you don't want those false starts. It's a home game, man. The crowd's not going to be an issue for you, on third downs when you're out there on offense. So you can't have those stupid penalties. You can't, I'm not going to talk about it much anymore, but Malachi Moore out there, we all know what he did. You can't have those, just bad penalties at the end of the day. So that is definitely one thing Alabama is going to have to do. They cannot shoot themselves in the foot by just giving up stupid penalties, which in turn can extend drives for that South Carolina offense. Key to victory number 4, can we please see these running backs more? My God, man. In the last game, Jam Miller and Justice Haynes both had 11 total carries combined against Vanderbilt. And when you have the talent that you have at running back, I know that Jalen Milroe is also very talented when it comes to running the ball, and I'm not asking them to run Jalen Milroe any less, but man, you have got to get these guys, more involved in the game plan. And, granted, I know you got behind last week 13-0 extremely fast, but still, man, you can still go out there and run the ball. And I don't think Alabama has really done enough of that so far this season. Nick Sheridan talked about the running back usage during Monday's press conference during that Vanderbilt game. This is what he said. He said, I think that's a point of emphasis to be more efficient and effective running the football. But I also know that you have to do whatever's required in a game to try to score points and win each game, and each game can kind of unfold in a different way, and that's just how the game went on Saturday. And we know that Vanderbilt was able to control, the clock, and they were able to control the ball, and at the end of the day, Alabama had to score fast in that game just to be able to stay in the game. But look, the offensive line also has to do a better job in run blocking. I think they've done a decent job when it comes to pass protection, especially since they've gotten Elijah Pritchett out there. He's been healthy. He's been very good. But, man, when you're going out there, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, You're trying to run the ball to get the first down, and you got, your leaders on the offensive line, Tyler Booker, Jaeden Roberts, just getting pushed, blown off the ball by some of those Vanderbilt defenders. You have better players than them, at the end of the day in the trenches. And you cannot consistently get blown off the line. It's been an issue for the past couple years. Everybody always wants Alabama to run the ball. But at the end of the day, they just have not been able to do it consistently the last couple years. Really need this offensive line to step up to get those guys going on the ground. So I want to hear from you guys in the comments one more time. Grade the offensive line so far this year. A, B, C, D, or F. Honestly, for me right now, it's either a C or a B, maybe even like a C+, because like I said, I think they've done a pretty decent job in pass protection this year compared to last year anyways. But when it comes to the run game, they're consistently getting blown off the line and getting pushed back, not getting a consistent push in those, run downs. So really need those guys to get better. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section right now. Key to victory number 5. Look, this secondary just absolutely has to play better for Alabama. And I'm talking about Malachi Moore. I'm talking about Keon Sabb. Talking about Damani Jackson, Xavier Brown. Every single one of these guys have to play better. Keon Sabb, the first game of the season, goes out there, gets 2 interceptions, but since then hasn't really been much of a factor. In fact, he's gotten actually burnt a lot. Had Malachi Moore, he gave up that 4th and 1 touchdown. Whether that was a busted coverage or whether that was Malachi Moore's guy and he was just getting burnt, getting behind him, it doesn't really matter to me. I just need this secondary to start playing better and start playing more consistent. I think the most consistent guy that you've had so far in the secondary has been Devontae Smith. I think he's looked really good at that Husky position. Damani Jackson has looked pretty decent so far this season. Got cooked a pretty good bit against Vanderbilt. But, man, all the way across the board, I need these guys to play a whole lot better.